we need to tell ourselves the truth. Primary and basic education is in the concurrent list. It is the responsibility of state governors. If I were the governor, and with due respect to his person, of Niger State, that Kagara episode would have disqualified me from continuing to call myself the chief executive of the state. He may not be the sole factor responsible, so successive regime before him are also vicariously liable. How do we qualify that incident? That incident of Kagara, as painful as it was, still it is to the parents and to every concerned Nigeria, is a sort of a blessing in disguise, because it has exposed the hypocrisy of some of our state governments. You collect huge sum of money from the center. What is your priority? Security have collapsed. No security for educational system, and indirectly for our children that are studying in our institution of a higher learning. What justification, what excuse do we have to offer it is not even a dilapidated institution. If it is dilapidation, probably we will accuse them of lackadaisical attitude when it comes to repairs and upgrade. What do you call that structure? Not even a dignified pig will celebrate sleeping there. Pig. But our own children who are supposed to be there to be trained to take over from us. And nobody talk. After that, as Nigerians, we condemn, we celebrate, our lives continue. And it is not only in Niger State, all over the country. I travel to 80% of all the colonies of the country every year, visiting institutions. We see this, but we are limited because basic education is in the concurrent. So it is a responsibility of the state legislatures to be on the neck of the governors. But unfortunately, our system is such that the governors, I share with people that, although I'm not saying all, there are few progressive among them. Oh my God. There are few progressive among them that catered, commit, and are up and doing, but they represent a very insignificant percentage of them. The basic education is being compounded by the federal government through UBEC. Through UBEC, what governors are only required to do is to put a counterpart funding. If your state put 5 billion every year in basic education, federal government automatically remit another 5 billion. What is needed is for you to come and register. I am putting 5 billion for education. Automatically, the federal government will give you 5 billion. You are having 10 billion to go and develop again. But the governors will not. They prepare to go and build the airport. White elephant project that will serve nobody, but will serve their pockets and interest. As painful as this thing is, sometimes we should be able to tell ourselves the truth, because people doesn't know the dichotomy. Everything is being transferred to federal government, federal government. I want a function. The Imam wanted, whether it's being mischievous or out of ignorance, he said they do not have a graveyard. That I'm a member of hotel and they do not have a graveyard in the area. I said, sir, where have you ever seen, it was during Jonathan government, I said, where have you ever seen Jonathan build a graveyard anywhere in Nigeria? I will build it too. Actually, the graveyard is the responsibility of the chairman of the local government whose house is next to you, not me as a federal legislature. I had built a primary and secondary school in this area, not because it is my duty, but because we are being blackmailed. Somebody said, he is chairman of education. In this area, there is no secondary school. It's not my responsibility. But I was forced to build a 40 classroom secondary school. Not because it is my duty, but because I have been pressurized. And if I put secondary school in the budget, executive have right to expunge it, because it is not the responsibility of the federal government to do that. So to cut long story short, the responsibility of developing secondary education and associated matters like the one you raised lies 90% solely on the shoulders of the state government through the governors. And the legislature of the state assembly are vicariously liable for not doing their job. They are supposed to challenge the governors, to be on the neck of the governors, to ensure that these things are addressed. In an advanced country, that episode of Kagara in Niger State would have either led to the resignation of the governor or an impeachment proceeding initiated there and then against him. And again, the public again have responsibility. If the governor abdicated his responsibility and the legislature allowed themselves to be coward, not to serve as check and balances on the governor, then the public should rise against the state legislature to ask for accountability, to ask for action in a very lawful manner, without violating the provisions of the constitutions and legality of the country. Except we begin to do that. So if you look at my statement, then it means it's a sort of tripartite responsibility. The governor, the legislature, and members of the public. Everybody have a role. And if anybody drill in the process, then we might not receive a result. If the governor refuses to do it, that is why the legislature existed, to pressurize him, to insist he must do. If the governor refuses and the legislature went to sleep, then the public should not sleep. Because we all are here, are in the state at the instance of public board. Therefore, we must be up and doing. It's a very pathetic situation. We are all concerned. But if you invite the Minister of Education here, he will ask you to show him any federal institution that is not PENS, which is, and you cannot get, which Unity College that the federal government run that is not PENS, is not skilled. All these incidences are happening in state institutions where there are visibly no strong provision of security, and in most cases, the schools are like village market. You exit in and out from any angle you desire. It's unfortunate. I want to believe that this incident will have woken some of the governors up, and probably our colleagues in the state will have begun to learn a lesson from this unfortunate situation.